Eurobox presents The First and the Last, written by Sona, Schmidt, Harris. What if the greatest mysteries of life and the deepest scars of history were woven together in one unforgettable novel? The First and the Last is a sweeping and intimate literary journey that dares to ask the most human questions of all. Who are we when everything else is stripped away? And what remains when even memory is gone? Let's welcome the author of this book, who's our special guest today. Let's welcome Sona. Hi, Sona. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
So, this novel explores memory, explores trauma, identity with a great emotional honesty. What was your inspiration or idea to start writing this book?
I think it was an amalgamation of my life experiences and also kind of the deep recesses of the mind have always interested me. Magical realism, the way like Salman Rushdie combines a realistic storyline, but brings in elements of fantasy as well. And who's to say what is fantasy and what might exist out there somewhere? Yeah.
You write from multiple perspectives, some of which are also vulnerable or morally complex. What challenges did you face in capturing these different voices authentically?
That's interesting. That's an interesting question. I'd never thought of that. I think it was probably most difficult to get into men's heads for me, especially maybe the father of Cassandra and Sarah. But Theo, for some reason, because he's so vulnerable and sensitive, that wasn't quite as difficult. But it's still the male perspective I struggled with more.
The title suggests a profound arc, possibly even a spiritual one. How does the idea of beginnings and endings shape the narrative in this sense?
I start the novel with a quote from the King James Bible, and it says, one moment, I'm getting that quote. But many that are first shall be last, and the last shall be first. And I believe it's a religious paradox, it's a psychological paradox, and philosophical paradox. So the idea of first and last, that scripture is always echoed in my head. And I think that was the inspiration.
Another interesting thing, throughout the novel, there is a tension between reason and faith, suffering and hope. What do you hope readers can take away from these philosophical contrasts?
The suffering and hope, again, a paradox. Yeah, within almost every human, there is suffering and in hope. So I'm hoping that people can really think about the paradoxes within each person, the paradox of life, paradoxes of religion and philosophy, war and peace. They're completely woven all into life, one person even, besides the whole world.
Sona, thank you. Thank you again very much for your time, and we want to wish you best luck with your book.
Thank you very much.
This is not a story you'll simply read. It's a story that will inhabit you. For readers who seek fiction that challenges, comforts, and ultimately transforms, The First and the Last is an essential experience. Written by Sona Schmidt Harris, it is now available in bookstores and digital platforms. It's a publication by Eurobox.